All right, so moving. Well, sticking with music for a bit now. Now we're gonna talk about a film. Sorry, TV series actually, which is based on one of the most iconic hip hop groups. What I would say my second favorite hip hop group of all time, the Wu-Tang Clan. The leader of whom is RZA, who, yes, as you would know, is well, Kanye is highly influenced by, right? Yeah, one of his um many influences, I would say, as far as music production goes, is RZA, right? Especially with the style of music that he unleashed the world with, the first set of Wu Tang Clan albums, right? But yeah, this show here, Wu Tang and American Saga, this was a well, they call this a mini series, but I call it season one, basically, right? I keep our fingers crossed that we get season two. This is off of Hulu. We got the trailer for this a while back, and at first both of us were kind of like taken aback a bit. I don't know about you, Ricardo, but I was like, okay, well, characters not looking the way how they're looking. Like,
Yeah,
yes, I like
we're
Ashton
looking like
Sanders and all that, but he don't look like RZA. He
right.
doesn't. Um, and then you have like Dave East, the rapper, and he's playing Method Man. It's like, no, they don't look the same.
Yeah, it
You
look
know what I
like
mean? But
a Paul. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, you have Joey Badass who played Inspector Deck. You know what I mean? It's like, whoa. You know what I mean? They don't look the way they look, right? But after watching the first three episodes, I that was to me a flaw that I let slide. It grew on me actually, because
yeah,
what
yeah.
I
It's not
liked is that
fun.
because essentially the show itself, and this is what I love about the show. The show doesn't paint these characters, these sorry, these real people as these larger than life figures. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, that's RZA. Oh my God, that's ODB. You know what I mean? They show them as normal people. So because
Right,
they
right.
get like a fairly, I don't want to say a new cast, but just people that you don't normally see regularly on film, right, or on TV, to play these characters. They don't make them stand out too much. There. So it's like, oh well, eventually he's going to be this guy that I know. He's going to be the RZA that I know. He's going to be the Method Man, the Ghostface Killer that I know. But for now, they are these characters here, so I have to accept them as that. So it's not like the show is stopping to tell you guys, hey, that's Rick one. Eventually he's gonna be a rapper. It's just showing
Right.
these characters in like their day-to-day lives and situations. And without delving too deep into the story itself, or I should say the many stories in the season here, that's essentially what this show is about. It's just showing these characters, just grinding, basically hustling, doing what they can to get to that next level. In the case of RZA, aka Bobby Diggs, played by Ashton Sanders, it's about getting into the music business. You know, what I mean, being a rapper, getting away from the drug dealing business that his brother uh, Divine is involved in, right? Played by Julianne Martinez. And then, well, you have keep saying characters. You have guys like Raekwon and Ghostface Killer, who they set up in, from early on as rivals, right? Because they
Right.
both work for different drug dealers in Staten Island, basically. There's an incident where Raekwon actually shot at the apartment basically where Ghostface was staying at with his two brothers and his mom, and because of that he has this sort of like he just seeking vengeance on Rick Wanda. He just looking out to to murk him basically, right? But they are still friends with RZA, right? So ever so often they'll meet up. RZA has his basement. He's making beats. And ever so often you'll meet up and spit a verse and whatnot, but they never really like meet up with each other. Save for one episode there in the end where this is where RZA gets his first record deal actually through Tommy Boy Records, and he has the moniker Prince Rakim, right? So if you know his history, this is where he was playing this sort of like suave kind of player type kind of character, right? And he had this one track, We Love You, Rakim, which in retrospect is a kind of silly song, but as far as early 90s tracks go, it's dumb fun, right? We could tell it
Yeah.
wasn't his fit. He's more of the rugged, kung fu inspired stuff, street life kind of stuff. And then eventually, as you see, being inspired by, the 5%, philosophy, right? And just that those teachings and those guys that periodically show up in the show. And I was wondering when would RZA actually confront one of them and actually learn about the teachings. If you know Wu-Tang music, it's always steeped in that 5% philosophy and all that kind of stuff now, right? The nations of the gods, the earths and all that kind of stuff, basically. So yeah, so there's that. Also we have, we have his cousin Jizza. He's going through his little record deal madness himself. Because yes, at the same time he had his own he was called the Genius at the time. He had his own album called Words for the Genius, which actually is a pretty good album. If you're a Wu-Tang fan, you probably heard it already. If you haven't, you should give it a look. It's really good. But it's a far departure from the really, I would say, that sort of samurai aspect that he had with Liquid Swords, right? Still the greatest album we ever put out. Also, his other cousin, Old Dirty Bastard, he's the comic relief for the whole show. I actually love the actor that they chose for him. Okay, yeah, he really does commit to looking like him, sounding like him, talking like him. Rapping, not so much. Like, he still sounds like how he does sound like in real life, but he doesn't sound authentic like ODB, which is fine, right? I would say that for all the other actors who play the rappers themselves. They don't go out of the way to sound like the guys that they reference in. Even Dave East himself, he has the sort of husky drawl that Method Man does, but you could tell it's Dave East's voice. He's not trying to sound like Method Man that much, right? And yeah, long story short, it's just mainly about these characters getting by. They focus a lot more on RZA's family because, I mean, he is the de facto leader of the group. So you see his sister, and they have to stay with his sister being in a relationship with Ghostface. I don't know if that's true, but I do. There's this one episode where they work that into this kung fu flick, right? Actually, Shaolin and Wu-Tang, right, which is one of the movies that influenced their style and sound, right? But they was talking about, this guy who loved this other guy's sister is like, oh, that's like you and you like RZA's sister, right? Ha ha ha, right? And all that kind of stuff going on. But at the same time, you see, just how bad that the hood is, right? The inner city is. There's a lot of crime and drugs and violence and stuff like that. The show itself isn't. I mean, the show is brief enough to show you this, not in stark detail, but just show you that this is a reality even back in the early 90s. There, you know what I mean? Drugs and violence and stuff were like everyday reality, right? And last but not least, also you get to see RZA's journey, just him becoming the producer and rapper that he is known now. I love like the early parts where he was trying to get the MPC sampler, and it was just him going into this record store, this music shop basically, and him finding out that it costs so much. So it's like, dude, how am I gonna make this money now? It's like, well, all right, I gotta sell drugs, I gotta sell weed, I gotta sell it to these Wall Street cats, you know what I mean? And if this is what I have to do to get by, cool. But now, because his mom left basically, to join her. Well, I don't want to say RZA's stepdad, but just this guy that comes into life basically, played by Bookie Woodbine of all people, right? So it's like now he has to take care of the house. He has to be the man now, right? And then also there's an issue with his brother being arrested, for a while. It's like, all right, what are you going to do to put food on the table, right? Is this rap thing going to help us? Or you have to just go back to selling drugs, basically, right? And, before I share my thoughts on it, I know you didn't watch all the episodes yet, but up to where you stopped at?
Only the first few episodes. I didn't watch anything else after.
Oh, shit. Okay. No, I thought you watched at least a few more after that, though.
No.
All right, well, fine. All right, so without spoiling the show, I would say that while I was not blown away by this show, and when I say blown away, because, like, look, when you hear, okay, Wu-Tang is going to have their own, like, TV show, chronicling the years and, how they became who they were, right? You get excited, you know what I mean? And you get that level of excitement throughout the show, right? But what I like, though, and at first it kind of take me out of it a bit, but I kind of get used to it, is how it takes its time, right? The story is not about, this is how instantaneously they become these big rappers. So we're going to have this big montage of them doing shows, and all of a sudden there's rap gods and all that kind of stuff. This is not the story you try to tell. Actually, the perfect film I could compare this to is 8 Mile, right? Where
Right.
it's not so much about, oh, this is how B Rabbit becomes Eminem. So at the very end, oh, he's Eminem and he's touring the world and selling records. It's about how B Rabbit kind of finds himself, finds his sound. You know what I mean? How he realizes that it's not even so much about the audience that he's rapping to. It's about himself, like confronting himself there. So he's braver on the mic. You know, he could stand his own and not choke, right? That's what 8 Mile is about, right? But it's not so much about, oh, this is how Eminem became Eminem, right? So at first when you see this thing, when you see this setup, it's like, oh shit, so now we're gonna see how they did, protect your neck, the first single they put out, and this is how they got big and blah blah blah, and when they performed all that kind of stuff there. I think the reason why is because of the documentary series, the docu-mini series of Mike's and Men, right? Which Showtime
Right.
brought out a few months ago. See like how that showcased the story there. And that's what I thought we were gonna get. But you see that was years that it was spanning, right? That wasn't just from 92 to where they at right now. So in this case, with this show here, it's I would say 91, yeah, 91 to about 92. So it's just fairly a short period of time as far as their career as a group goes. And it's just the grind, just daily what it is they're doing, who working at this store, who selling drugs over here and all that kind of stuff. And for some people, especially who like to talk bad about, Black American, African American TV, us promoting all these negative stereotypes, blah, 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 blah. But I mean, this is the stuff that pretty much fueled their music, though. When
Right.
you think about it, it was raw and it was rugged because that was their mentality. That was where they were from. It was all or nothing for them. It was either that or they would just sell drugs. Like one famous story is RZA telling the group, what I mean, look, let me just do this thing, and if it don't work, then you just go back to doing what it is you're doing, right? So that was that kind of mentality. So I like how the show kind of shows that, making that choice is so easy, but it's hard at the same time. Like, yeah, I can rap, but dog, rapping not doing that for me, Jen. I ain't not making no money from that. I making more money selling drugs here. Yeah, sure, I could get killed, I could get arrested, but I could do this easy. You know what I mean? But on the flip side of that, I was like, well, yeah, I rapping and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, but this not working out for me neither. You know what I mean? Like I get screwed over by record labels and people that listen to my stuff. Uh, you want me to dilute my sound, but no, I from the hood there, so this is why I want to bring and all that kind of stuff there, and all these things, and then of course having, just a lot of influences, a lot of people coming in and telling you what to do and how to think and all that kind of stuff there. So you see that in the character of RZA. You know what I mean? Like him wanting to be a dope MC. At the same time, you have the 5% of people come in, tell them all that stuff, and then Jizza, well, yes, he was in that as well. So it's kind of like how his mindset kind of develops over time, there, even though he was rapping at the time. You know what I mean? And just all that stuff going on. As far as gripes though, I find that there is how to describe it, but like because it's 10 episodes we working with here, because it's drama, like an urban drama. You always have like situations, like 10 situations now, but you kind of wondered like if they're there just to kind of move the story along or to add tension, or if they really did happen. So case in point, so in near the end of the season, there's a character who shows up. Never heard of this character before in my life, but he's this convict, right? He's released from prison, and apparently he wants to go for RZA and his brother because he owe him some money. So now it's this thing where he hunted them down. Basically, he breaking inside the house, bust through the door with gun in hand, stealing his stuff and all that kind of thing. There. In my head, I wondered if that's what really happened. You know what I mean? But
Right. Yeah.
you
You're not
kind of
sure what I'm
say
better.
that, yeah, you're not sure. Yeah, not sure if this is the truth or not. But you're wondering if they added that just to
Did it
build a
give
story.
did it give any clear indication of unreliable narration?
No, no, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, yes, it is fictionalized, right? But yeah, at times you do kind of step back and wonder, all right, did this really happen? And if this didn't really happen, why is it there, right? And sometimes because you want to touch on a lot of social issues, right? So,
Right.
slight spoiler. Uh, RZA's sister, well, older sister actually, she gets pregnant. But this is right after she left the home to go with she mom and she stepfather, wherever it is, right? and she realizes that she's pregnant now, right? But this is like from a while before she last was with Ghostface, right? So there's this scene basically where she goes to have the child aborted, right? And right outside you see these anti-abortion people with placards and all that kind of stuff with signs and all that saying, "Oh well, abortion is bad, blah 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 blah," and all that kind of stuff there. I like, you could have just like we understand. I get it, but you don't have to hit me so hard with it. Like you could have just remove those people altogether and just have it be about she and the nurse who doing the operation, right? Don't have these folks outside. Okay, you want to stress how bad abortion is, right? Come on, this is not
No,
that type of show.
but I think a normal Planned Parenthood thing, right? I mean, in real life, Planned Parenthoods are picketed, so I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know, but like
yeah.
from a narrative perspective, you're telling me so. That one day that she decided that she want to get rid of this child is when those folks outside. I'm
No,
just
there's
saying
the
this
outside.
as a narrative perspective, though.
No, I think, as far as I know, Planned Parenthood it's picketed pretty much every day, all the time. I think that's like a permanent thing.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
I guess. All right. Yeah.
right.
So that if that makes sense, what I'm trying to say. So yeah, basically, like they just have a lot of stuff going on, and at times it feels as if it's taken away from what the core story is about, which is
Right.
how this group comes together, right? And they do come together. They actually do not perform the single Protect Your Neck. They actually perform another track. But I like that they do a little flip with it basically because if you know, well, I'm not going to say what the song is, right? But essentially, all the members, well, not all, but a majority of them are on the track, right? But there are a few
Right.
that do not show up for various reasons. I'm not going to say who they are, right? But it's because of personal stuff that goes on within the story. And then also because he did not really fully introduce the characters of U-God and Master Killer. You actually do see Master Killer. I'm not going to say where, but you don't see U-God at all. I'm not sure
Right.
why. I don't know if they don't want to use his likeness. Like if he himself don't want to use his likeness in the show, but I think that
Okay.
he is one of the consultants in the show. I think, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, dog, it's about the group. Why not have somebody play you? Like you might have a book
Right.
right now. Actually, yeah, I didn't even know that till I saw the docu series. Actually, started reading it. It's really good. Actually, you should really check it out. But yeah, I thought because of like his input into like showing the come up of that group, right? He should have a part to play in the story, but he's not there for whatever reason. I don't know. But yeah, so for some people, I know that gonna be a drawback because you kind of want to, you just kind of wishing that, all right, when the group gonna get together, when they gonna have that first show, when they gonna kick ass and do all that kind of stuff. But it's still okay. It's a matter of when characters are available or if they're not tied up with stuff and just the ups and downs basically that goes with. So that's something
Right.
I can respect and I understand, but for some people, just be like, nah, man, I want to see it. I want to see it happen. And this is why I was saying, early on that I really hope that they do a second season. I keep my fingers crossed on this one because it can look bad because yeah, the group itself is not fully formed as yet, right? But it will look bad if the series is cancelled and we don't get to see that happen again. We don't.
Right.
Sorry, we don't get to see that happen. And the reference I made earlier is with the Get Down, right? Which is a show that I really dug because it was like, the late 70s. It was showing the early the growth of hip hop music.
Right.
The death of disco, and it's just all these characters. Well, basically forming this hip hop group, basically, right? And I was entertained by it. Like, sure, it wasn't perfect, but I enjoyed it, right? But then all of a sudden, oh, it's canceled, so we're never gonna see what happens next. Because yeah, they stop at a cliffhanger, right? Just like this show here, and
Right.
I want to see what happens next, though. But like I say, I just keep our fingers crossed. I'm hoping that we do see another season of this at least, because
Okay.
yeah, you know what I mean. Like I would say as a whole, first season it was rocky, but not too rocky that it took me out of the show.
Okay.
It took me a while to get into it. Like I realized it's one of those. It's not too slow, but it takes its time. It's not jumping into the performances and when they drop the song and the album. It's about
Right.
how characters kind of interact and when they meet and when things happen, why things happen, all that kind of stuff. So it kind of adds a lot more depth into their lives and what led them to form the group to begin with. I think that performance-wise, everybody killed it. Ashton Sanders still looks like Ashton Sanders Every time I see
Yeah.
him, he still
He looking
has
like
that
he
kind
looking
of
like
way he always look, the way how he just dip his head a little bit, the way how he's talk. Every time I just see him,
yeah,
it's like, this is
yeah, he
Ashton
looks
Sanders playing RZA. He's not RZA, you know what I
right.
mean?
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
how I see everybody. I see it's this guy playing Method Man. It's this guy playing
And
Rico.
I know
It's
usually that's something I don't necessarily mind, but you had to do somebody role good enough for you to rope you in there. So that was a big issue for you because I don't think it was the biggest issue for me with the little I watched. Now.
yeah, but I think it's because you know how RZA talks, like this
Right,
is like how he has a certain way of talking. So when
right,
Ashton does it, like he's trying to sound like RZA, the way
right.
how he
Yeah,
see its words and all that kind of stuff there. So yeah, but at times it kind of ticked me out, but I was like, all right, I let it slide because I actually like the cast. I like the energy that they bring to the characters when they bring on screen. You know what I mean? The banter between them, it feels authentic, it feels real, gritty, you know what I mean? And the show is very gritty as well too. I like how
right,
unapologetically gritty it is, right? But if it's the type that don't like to see African Americans portrayed in that way, blah blah blah, then yeah, this is not for you. But for me, this is like, yeah, this is life. This is where they come from. And I don't think the
right,
show
right.
celebrates it, but it's just like, no, this is they are part of the environment basically, and this is what they were able to do, and become legends as a result. But it does not happen overnight, literally, right?
Right.
The American dream doesn't happen overnight, right? And to me, this is what the show kind of really best emphasizes, that this stuff, how they make music and all that kind of stuff. Like we think it easy, like from us being foreigners, we think, oh, they just meet up and they just do a rhyme and they make a beat and they sell a song and that's it. That's how they become legends. No, it's a lot more than that. You know what I mean? And I like this final thing I want to say. I like the mere fact that it's as simple as just characters just being there. It's not like, oh, like he just call everybody. Jack is like, all right, I want all of you there. Sometimes
Yeah,
people there, sometimes they're not there. Sometimes they might drop a verse on a song. Sometimes the song might be out. Something might happen, and then they might have to redo it. You know what I mean? So nothing ever happens overnight in this show here. And I love that. I love that aspect
yeah,
about it. So yeah. But once again, but it's still rough around the edges. Still some stuff narrative wise they could fix up on. But I just really hope that we get a second season so they could just kind of iron all that out, you know what I mean, and really give us a solid show. It really does remind me a lot of like The Wire, you know what I mean, not just because of
yeah.
how gritty that they portray life, but just the character arcs, just multi character arcs in the show, right? But still, if you, I would say though, like if you are a fan of the Wu-Tang, you should check it out. But don't go in with expectations too high, or else you'll be like real disappointed. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh well, at the end of the season they'll become the group. You know what I mean? It's not like that. It's the come up. And you can argue for days, oh well, this didn't really happen and that didn't really happen, blah 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 blah. But it's all about telling the story, and I think it's a very fairly well told story in my opinion, right? I just want to see what more they do with it. So for me, rated wise, I'll go with a lighter, decent 3.5 out of 5. Man. This is
Nice.
certainly worth watching. Unless you're just not into it, unless you just genuinely don't care about rap or you know urban street life stuff, then yeah,
Well,
this
yeah.
is not. But if you like that kind of stuff, or if you just want to
Well,
know
you know what? You're already listening to what podcast you're on, so ever.
exactly, yeah. So if you like that kind of stuff, or if you just want to know what's the big deal behind this, what's this Wu-Tang group? What's this Wu-Tang stuff? Yeah, give
Yeah.
this one a look, man. But I'd really recommend also to, if you want to learn even more about the group, watch
Yeah,
the
the Mike Subman
docu-series of Mike
documentary.
Subman. That really
Yeah.
sums up who they are and why they're so influential in the first place. That does a great job.